Shalom, Kal Halayim La Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Wahawar Chakwadash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS that rule well, and salutations and blessings to you elect out there, starting with the 144,000 and the rest. So this lesson is going to deal with something I was watching from the elder Yeshua. He was going into Revelation chapter 17, which was a very good video. I was driving today and I was listening to it, and he mentioned something about romanticism, and I was already pondering on this. And when he said it, I'm like, you know what, I got to do a lesson on it. So pretty much I typed in, why is romanticism so important in America? It says American romanticism is significant because it marked the first major literary movement in the United States, celebrating American identity and beauty, and it fostered a distinct American voice in literature and art, moving away from European influences. Now, when the elder Yeshua was going into that in Revelation 17 about that Roman way, that's what romanticism is. When you look up the etymology, they actually try to jump around. I used to have an old etymology dictionary. I don't have it anymore, but it mentioned that romantic or romanticism, right, goes back to pretty much Roman-like, and I'm gonna bring that out actually. Right, when you go on Enum Online, 1650s romantic, of the nature of a literary romance, partaken of the heroic or marvelous, pertaining to romance, a romance. Now we got to look up romance as the noun, right? Again, they kind of keep blabbering, a story written or recited in verse telling of the adventures of a knight, hero, etc. When we go down here to write in a romance language, from Latin Romanicis, as of or in the Roman style, Romanus, Roman, simple, right? But when you look up certain definitions, they don't really tell you that. They just give you different things like they were above. So pretty much that whole Roman way of life meant what? What did that Roman style mean? Right? I typed in, how influential was Romanticism or romantic in America? Romanticism significantly influenced American culture or literature, culture and society, shifting focus from reason to emotion, which is something that the elder Yeshua mentioned in this video. Okay, um, that whole genre of romantic comedy, romance, that novels, all that shit influences these women, which thereby really influences men as well. Okay, because you're chasing the woman, you become, they make movies about it. They show you, some good movies about the guy that's chasing the guy that doesn't have to chase and gets the bitch, the guy, all these different little categories. But the point is shifting from focus from reason to emotion. You become like a woman. As a man, you're supposed to have reason. You're not supposed to be dictated by your emotion. Okay, if somebody's looking at you weird on the street, and they're not doing anything, you shouldn't really engage with them. You should, this is a time to be wise as a dove, wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Okay, so emphasizing individualism. That, for me, when I hear that, I think of do as thou wilt. And inspiring writers like Washington Irving and Walt Whitman. Okay, emphasis on emotion and intuition. Romanticism moved away from Enlightenment's focus on reason and logic, instead valuing emotions, intuition, and imagination. Individualism, the movement celebrated the individual's unique experiences and perspectives, emphasizing self-expression and freedom from societal constraints. Right, and again, this is part of why I'm doing this lesson, is because this is part of the image of this damn beast, man. Right? This is Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right? And that's going into America, Babylon the Great. Okay, the two horns. A horn represents power. You have two powers, pretty much. What you call political parties. Okay, the Democrats and Republicans. Right, in Canada, we have the liberals and the conservatives. It's the same thing. And they try to play this Hegelian dialect game with you, right? Where they'll have pretty much 4 years or maybe 8 years, 2 terms of a conservative, and then they'll switch. Maybe 4 years liberal or 8 years. And that's what happened in Canada. The last 8 years was liberal, and it destroyed this country, right, politically. But that's all a game. They opened up immigration. They were completely loose. Crime is at an all-time high. Car theft, break-ins. The bail system is all messed up. People are getting out the next day or the day of. When they get locked up with a gun or even for a violent crime. So all that is a game, though, of the elites to get a reaction from the people. Okay? You have this new guy in there, Carney, all right, which was a central banker. He actually started out with Goldman Sachs, right? He worked in various offices, and now he did like I said, he was in the central bank, in England, and this guy was high level. And guess what? There's information coming out that he's all tied up with Epstein, which we know all these things are coming out. And the beautiful thing is that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is exposing it at a very, very high rate. It's not taking a few months or years to get this information. So as soon as this guy came up, the information came out, right? It says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth, right, which is Rome, that Roman way of life. So this is Rome reborn. So this is another aspect of Rome. We bring out about the language, about Latin, how botanicals, the law, medicine, different ways, different things like that. The language, the set language is Latin, right? Architecture, you know, um, the Akim, the brothers in the States that went to school, they can tell you they learned Roman numerals, so pretty much this is Rome reborn. All right. It says, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth, and in Slacket, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. See, and this image is going into this whole system. You need a barcode. All this way of life. This is a Roman way of life, just upgraded with Rome 2.0. Okay, this is Rome reboot. So let's keep going. And this is where you have your red pill now. This is where simping was, highlighted, right? From that Roman way of life, or Roman style, right? What else did I type in? I typed in, how much influence did ancient Rome have in the Renaissance? Right? Ancient Rome had a profound and multifaceted influence on the Renaissance, which was a period of renewed interest in classical culture, right? They call them the classics. Different writings of great philosophers and writers and poets and whatnot, right? It says, particularly Roman art, architecture, literature, and political thought, right? So let's go to this website. This is from www.historycrunch.com, Rome in the Renaissance. And I'm going to jump around. It says the Renaissance is an important event in European history that stretched from the 14th century to the 17th century. It was preceded by the Middle Ages in Europe and eventually led to other major events such as the Age of Enlightenment. This is what they call the Age of Enlightenment. You know, this is where after a short time you had in 1776 the Illuminati or the Enlightened Ones. But this Age of Enlightenment was when Esau came out. You know, he came into power. You know, Israelites, Jakes were ruling during this around 1000 to 1100 year period, what scholars call the Byzantine or the Byzantine Empire. Okay, it says in historical terms, the Renaissance is important because it led to a major shift in European thought and worldview. The Renaissance is considered to have begun in the city states of the Italian peninsula, such as Genoa, Florence, Milan, Naples, Rome, and Venice. Okay. In each of these city states, the significant changes of the overall Renaissance occurred and unfolded. For example, the most significant changes that emerged as a result of the Roman or the Slovakia as a result of the Renaissance can be seen in European architecture, art, literature, mathematics, music, philosophy, politics, religion, and science. Intellectual thought in these fields flourished during the time frame of the Renaissance and led to many people questioning long held beliefs about each. So let's jump down. And this mentions Rome. This goes into the history of Rome, but I'm not going to read. You know, it goes into Romulus and Remus, right? Some Punic history, just the general history of Rome. But I'm going to go to the point of the Renaissance, okay, when Romanticism was revived. Let's see. The Renaissance in the city state of Rome began in the early 15th century during a time of relative peace. This allowed art and other Renaissance pursuits to flourish in the Italian city states, and this is when Jake was done, or it was beginning to be done. You had the the Black Plague, pneumonic and bubonic, starting 1325. You had various wars. You had 100-year war. You had the 30-year war, and that wiped out a lot of Jakes, man. It says, in fact, the center of the Italian Renaissance shifted from Florence to Rome throughout this century as it became a beacon of humanist ideas. That word humanism, humanist, okay? That's another thing. That's going into what they have now, which is transhumanism, which is an ideology. You can look that up, transhumanism. Apostle Tahar did videos on it. Brothers did videos on it. But that's the elite's goal. That's their plan. They want to upgrade the bodies as well. On the left hand side, it says one of the main features of the Renaissance was the rediscovery by European thinkers of ancient Greek and Roman ideas and texts. For example, the term Renaissance in French means rebirth. This is in relation to the idea that the intellectual culture of the Renaissance was sparked by the rediscovery of these ancient philosophies and ideas which had largely been ignored in Europe throughout the Middle Ages. Why was it ignored? Because Jake was ruling, and they call it the Dark Ages, as in no enlightenment, and then the light came, so to speak. But if you know, man. I don't know. I can't summarize all the history in one little saying, but you Edomites were at the bottom. You were pond scum. Okay, you were troglodytes. You were damn wild men. Forget about it. Okay, let me see. Yeah, this is good. In general, Renaissance humanism was the study of ancient Greek and Roman texts with the goal of promoting new norms and values in society. And you had a bunch of freaks in Rome, at its climax, at the time when it was at its most decadent, that decadence, they were completely, backwards, man. Okay. These norms and views varied from those at the time because they focused less heavily on a religious worldview. Instead, Renaissance humanists such as Petrarch used ancient texts to promote a worldview based on logic and reason. This was to be accomplished through the study of the Studia Humanitatis, which today is known as the humanities and includes topics such as grammar, history, poetry, and philosophy. Okay, so that was pretty much it. You know, that was it. You can go in this subject even deeper, and Lord's will, I will. This is just what I found, and I wanted to bring it out. And this is pretty much why the whole world, right? We brought that out. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the whole world wondered at the beast. Okay, the whole world. Hold on, let me type in worshipped. Yeah, it's at the beginning of 13 and 4, Revelation. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. That's the Roman way. That's Rome. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? See? So, amen. These people, they worship this system, this way of life. This is their life. Okay? You have to kiss the hand towards one in token of reverence. In the New Testament by kneeling. Yeah. So pretty much you give your whole devotion, your whole way of life to this way of degeneracy. Okay. So anyway, I hope you brothers are edified with that. Call Halayim la Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect.